We're going to talk about working out your salvation. That is after you become born again and become a child of God. It says we're saved through faith to do good works, specific works that God has planned for us. So for that to happen, it says pick up your cross and follow me daily. That means we've got to die. Well, I was doing a thing at the prison 5 years ago, and I was going to explain what hell was and salvation on this earth in a practical way of what it's supposed to mean. I knew the Bible said, work out your salvation, he who endures to the end will be saved. But I didn't understand the process, and I couldn't explain it in a practical way to people. And I knew I couldn't just shoot some biblical words at people to understand it, because I knew the biblical words, but I really didn't understand it. So, since I didn't understand it, I went and asked over 100 preachers and spiritual leaders to explain it to me in a practical way that I could understand as applied to my life, not some biblical words. And you know what? One came close. So if we don't understand this foundation, what kind of foundation are we building our Christian life on? Well, I did what I should have done all along. I finally prayed and asked God to show it to me. And he did, and it's found in Luke 4:18 and 4:19. He said, I sent my son to earth, and I anointed him the Messiah to tell you people the good news. Well, he didn't only tell us good news, he did the good news. He said, I came to tell the good news to the poor. But you got to admit you don't need God in the first place, so you're not going to listen. But only when you're desperate and want to give up, you can hear. But here is the good news. He said, I came to heal the brokenhearted. I came to set the captive free. He can't set us free. I mean, when I fell in love one time and got my heart broke, I got a broken heart. I felt it physical, but it was something spiritual. So I had to get healed of that before I could accept myself and other people. Then I found out that these bruises and stuff started in my childhood. That means if you touch something sensitive in me, I either backed up or lashed out, rejected the other person, blamed them, but the problem was in Billy Burnett. And he says, I want to send forth those that are oppressed, bruised, crushed, and broken down by calamity. Got to heal us to send us out. And that's what he wants to do as disciples, send them out, healed. Well, I finally caught on. And I realized we have to work out our salvation. I also realized that you can't work it out by yourself. You and God are not going to work it out. Jesus Christ couldn't carry his own cross to his death. He had to have somebody help carry that cross. You're going to have to help somebody that'll help you carry your cross to die to yourself so you can find the resurrection. The best story I've found to explain this is found in the Old Testament. It's found in the book of Joshua and Exodus. The Israeli nation were set free from Pharaoh. For 3 years, God showed himself to them to be true so that they trust him and have faith in him. Then they got the promised land, sent 12 spies over there. 12 of them came back, all of them said the same thing. The milk and honey is just like you said it was, God, but they're giants over there now. Some of them make us look like grasshoppers, and they got fortified cities. And 10 of the spies said they're too much for us. Let's go back to Egypt. Well, Caleb stood up and said, if God told us it's ours. Let's go. But the people listened to the 10 spies. Anytime you have a Christian leader does not believe that God can take care of your problem if you listen to him, you're listening to one of the 10 spies. It is easy to get led astray by them. Anyway, my point is, God said these people will die in the desert and ever in my rest. Well, I don't think they made it. That's up for you to decide. But then years later, when all these people had died in the desert, the next generation came. And they entered the promised land, led by Joshua. Joshua and Jesus have the same name. It means God saves. When they got in the promised land, they did not possess the promised land. They had to go take it city by city by city and listen to God to do it. When they didn't listen to God, there was no victory. They had to listen and obey. Trust and obey. You can't defeat the strongholds in your life without trusting and obeying. God may show you some miracles, like he showed that first group. But the truth is, you have to trust and obey, and you can't go by yourself. There are giants in our life of rejection, being hurt, families breaking up, parents running off, parents beating children, sexual molestation, you name it. We've all got some of this stuff in us. And there are giants that we have to face. And Jesus said, I came to heal your broken heart. And I can do it. And that's what walking your salvation is all about. You just got to walk with somebody, listen to God, face your giants, find the milk and honey, enjoy it for a while, but the journey never ends, because you will be facing giants to enjoy the freedom of God the rest of your life. And that's working out your salvation. It says, he who endures to the end will be saved.